1956. A Friday evening on a quiet street in small-town America. A 16-year-old stands in the driveway with his hand held out, and his father drops a single set of keys into it. The keys to the only car the family owns. What happens over the next 5 hours will be governed by a list of rules nobody ever wrote down, and every teenager in town understood every one of them. Today, a teenager has a phone, a debit card, a rideshare app, and a private world his parents will never fully see. Back then, he had one car, shared by the whole family, and the privilege of driving it had to be earned, and could vanish in a single evening. These are the unspoken rules every 1950s teenager had to follow with the family car. Break the wrong one, and you lost the keys, sometimes for a month, sometimes for good. Let's count them down. The last one is something we have lost entirely, and most people never noticed it go. Number 12. There was usually only one car, and it belonged to Dad. For most families in the 1950s, the second car was still years away. There was the car, singular, and it was understood to be the father's. A teenager did not have a car. He had, on a good night, permission to borrow one. That single fact set the tone for everything else. You were not the owner. You were a guest behind the wheel of the most expensive thing your family owned. Number 11. The keys were a privilege, and the privilege was fragile. Asking for the car was a small negotiation that happened at the dinner table in front of everyone. Where are you going? Who with? What time will you be home? A good answer earned the keys. A bad attitude, a slipped grade, a chore left undone, and the answer was simply no, with no appeal. The keys could be given and taken away on a whim, and every teenager knew it. Number 10. You brought it back with at least as much gas as you left with. This was close to sacred. Gasoline was cheap by today's standards, but it came out of your own pocket money, and returning the car on empty was an insult a father did not forget. The smart kid put in a little extra, so the needle sat a hair above where it started. The careless kid coasted home on fumes once, and walked everywhere for a while afterward. Number 9. You had to actually know how to drive it. Most family cars had a manual transmission, often 3 on the tree, with the shifter up on the steering column and a clutch that worked with it. You learned to find the gears without grinding them, to start on a hill without rolling back, and to give hand signals out the window, because the car's signals could not always be trusted. Driving was a physical skill, and a teenager who could not do it smoothly did not get the keys twice. Number 8. Curfew was not a suggestion. The time your father said was the time the car was in the driveway, engine off, keys on the hook, not 5 minutes after, not with a good excuse. The whole arrangement ran on trust, and nothing broke that trust faster than headlights swinging into the driveway an hour late. Many a teenager learned that the car could be grounded just as easily as he could. If you remember being handed the keys for the first time, consider subscribing, so these forgotten pieces of growing up keep finding the people who lived them. Number 7. The inspection was real, and it happened the moment you got home. A father had ways of knowing. He checked the gas gauge. He noticed the smell of cigarettes that were not yours, or perfume that was. He walked the fenders for a scratch in the morning light. He glanced at the odometer because some fathers knew almost to the mile how far the car should have gone. The car told on you, and he knew how to read it. Number 6. At the drive-in, the car was the only private space a teenager had. This is the part everyone remembers and nobody said out loud. A teenager in the 1950s had almost no privacy, no room of his own with the closing door, no phone to disappear into. The car, parked at the drive-in movie or out on a quiet road, was the one place 2 young people could be alone. Everyone understood this, including the fathers, which is exactly why the rules around the car were so strict in the first place. Number 5. Cruising had its own code. On a Friday night, the teenagers of the whole town drove slowly up and down the main street, windows down, radio up, seeing and being seen. And it had unwritten rules. How slow you rolled, who you waved to and who you ignored, where you parked and who you pulled up next to at the light. A kid who broke the code, who showed off too much or crowded the wrong car, heard about it by Monday. The street was a stage, and everyone knew their part. Number 4. You kept it clean because the car was the family. A teenager was often expected to wash and wax the family car on the weekend and to bring it back from a night out at least as clean as he took it. A dirty car in the driveway said something about the family to the whole neighborhood, and in a small town in the 1950s, what the neighbors thought was a currency all its own. The shine was not vanity, it was respect. Number 3. You represented the family name behind that wheel. The car had no logo for your family, but everyone knew whose it was. Drive it recklessly, get noticed by a neighbor doing something foolish, and it was not just your reputation on the line, it was your father's. A teenager carried the family name down every street he drove, and a single stupid night could follow a family for a long time in a place where everybody knew everybody. Number 2. The car was part of how you came calling. When a boy took a girl out, he did not text from the curb. He drove to her house, walked to the door, and met her father, often before he ever met her at the bottom of the stairs. The car waited at the curb as part of the picture, a sign that this was a real outing, taken seriously. The whole ritual of courtship ran partly through that car, and the fathers on both ends were watching it closely. Number 1. The thing we lost and never voted on. Strip away the gas gauge and the curfew and the inspection, and here is what the family car really was. It was a rite of passage. The moment a father dropped those keys into his kid's hand was the moment he said, "Out loud or not, I trust you with the most valuable thing I own. Be worthy of it." Earning the car was how a teenager learned he was becoming an adult, one Friday night at a time. Today, a child has his own phone at 10, his own private world long before he can drive, and often his own car the day he is licensed. We gained convenience, and we quietly lost the ceremony. The single shared car that a whole family fought over and a teenager had to earn is gone, and so is the quiet handshake it represented. A father, a set of keys, and a kid being trusted to come home. He was not just borrowing a car. For a few hours on a Friday night, he was being handed the keys to growing up. So tell me in the comments, do you remember your father's rules for the family car? What was the car, and what was the one rule you never dared break? I read every one. And if you want more of the forgotten rituals and lost places that built the world we grew up in, the next video is waiting for you right now.